It's time for the movie rating. Tonight's victim is actor Ken Sagoes that played in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. Hello.
Hello, how are you, Mike?
What's going on, man? Because you got some new stuff happening.
Yeah, I got a couple of new things going on around here. Yeah, excited about it.
Now, you're not just an actor, but you also do writing as well as directing.
Yeah, I'm a writer and a director as well, as a stand-up comic, if you must ask.
Oh, hell yeah. So, I mean, have you played in, or I should say, direct a whole lot of independent films?
No, I've directed one, and mostly it's been shorts and a lot of stage plays is what I've been focusing on as far as a director. But I'm hoping to get into independent film directing. In fact, as a matter of fact, I hope to be directing my first indie the latter part of next year, 2012.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It seems when it comes to the independent or even the shorts, do you prefer to pretty much be independent, or would you actually consider going to a company eventually?
I kind of like independent because then you're not bound by certain categories and certain things that maybe the studio would want to see, or the studio say that you can't do, or something like that. And I think you have a little more freedom when you go independent. But it all depends on the story. If you're directing, or gore, it's a feature film, you have a little more leeway. But if it's for television, you don't have that much leeway.
Yeah, with TV, it's almost identical as far as working in film. But with TV, it seems to be a lot longer compared to film. I mean, you could shoot like a couple months. But with TV shows, you could shoot a whole year trying to get at least, more than 35, 50 episodes?
Yeah, I think, you see, with TV, particularly episodic, you have really, if it's a 1 hour dramatic piece, you really have 7 days to shoot that. If it's a sitcom, you have 45 days to shoot it. So the turnover is very quickly. Now, it may take a whole year to shoot the the series for the episodic for that year. But for TV, it's a quick turnaround. If it's a movie of the week, it can be anywhere from, I remember the 2 movie of the weeks that I did, it was a 21-day shoot on both of them. We shot that whole thing in 21 days.
Yeah, it just seems it just increasingly grows longer and longer. But as far as going back to independent, it does give you leverage in a way, but also going to a company, of course, the money might be a little bit better, but again, you're restricted doing what you want to do.
Yeah, it really all depends on the project, and it depends on, how much faith that the executive producers or the company have in you, and, if you're stepping outside your realm of doing things. I happen to believe that, my realm is, believe it or not, more popular for horror and comedy, but I think my realm as a director is more dramatic.
Yeah.
It just depends, I think.
Yeah, because
and everything is negotiation. Everything is, talking, feeling, and being creative about something.
And of course, when it comes to writing it, you submit it, but then it ends up being either completely changed or rejected, and not being told about it.
Yeah, but there are very few writers will tell you that what they actually wrote, and sometimes, particularly in a series, and what ends up on the screen is 2 different things. I used to be a staff writer, and I can tell you, and this is how I explain it for writers as far as being a staff writer. You just imagine yourself having an operation, and you got several doctors around you operating on you, but you have one major doctor, but you have several other doctors or surgeons that's operating on you as well. And that's what it's like in the episodic television. You have a bunch of writers writing and trying to improve that story. Usually, for me, the writer, the head writer that wrote that episode, chances are they go through all this crap of rewriting, and it usually ends right back up for the writer who wrote it the first time.
Yeah, sometimes you might think that you could get a little bit, as I said, back to leverage again. It's like, well, it might be okay to do TV series and get the pay, but again, it goes right back to film. It's like, well, now I can't do it. Now I got a company that, except it's like you said, episodic.
Yeah, it's what you like. I happen to be one of those artists that like writing, and I like my work, and certainly I'll be a fool to say if money was not that important.
Oh, of course.
But I certainly like to work. That's the first thing for me.
No. Of course, you got to make a living somehow. I mean, if you did it for free, how the hell would you live? You doing everything for free, and you wouldn't get anything in life out of that. What kind of enjoyment? You got to get some cash out of it. Not to be greedy or anything, but there are greedy actors, greedy directors out there. But
there's greedy in every field.
There's always a greed in every field, regardless what it is. You got even modeling. Come on.
Greedy in every field.
And cheerleading. every field. But is it harder for you to start breaking it back into television, or are you going pretty much with film for a while?
It's hard in this business overall.
Oh, of course, but
it's so I just back when I was really hot, and I'm still I would like to believe that I'm still quite recognizable today, but those casting directors back from the 90s, they are antiques now, per se.
Yeah.
And you got these new casting directors in there. You got these new producers in there, with these new ideas. I remember the first script that I wrote. I wrote it for myself. As a young man that was falling in love with this young lady, and I think it was a beautiful story. But now, I have to play that young man's father.
It's like, well, shit, how come I get this and when I wrote this part? Why not?
It's really funny. I was at a horror convention recently, and we was talking about, Nightmare on Elm Street and, the movie, and they were saying, well, what if they do a remake with you be in it? Who the hell am I going to play? I can't play Kincaid again.
Yeah, there's no way, dude. Your character's gone. What?
God, but if they were going to do a remake,
yeah.
Which I thought would be a good idea, is they brought all of us back. Say the father, the parents of those children, the Dream Waters. I thought that would be a good idea. So, and it would work. So.
Yeah. If you were in the remake, maybe not your original character, but if you were to play, like you said, with playing as a parent or something, have like a cameo thing, like what they did with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool. Yeah. No problem. But your character wouldn't have any real resemblance in that film, because this is supposed to be a remake of the first one. Where the hell did this guy come from?
Yeah. But you have to look at those things from, like I say, for what they're worth.
Yeah, but of course you also got to move on to it on certain projects, and like Nightmare, because it is a most iconic film in the world and in history. But there's also some equally just as good opportunities for you too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not just from that film. You've got other stuff going on that you can still be credit to the name. You don't have to be some old dinosaur and just not exist.
No.
But I mean, it's just
nobody think about that until people bring it up.
Yeah.
Really, the public don't think that way.
No. But speaking of which, let's get into the fan questions real quick.
All right.
Well, that's a 3-part question, and it's from Molly Amp. So he asks, what is your favorite A Nightmare on Elm Street film?
Which one is the favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film?
Yeah, which one is your favorite A Nightmare on Elm Street film?
Well, I have 2 of them, Part 3 and Part 4. But if I had to lean toward my favorite, which would be, very, very tight, I would lean toward Part 3.
Back to 3, yes. I was in 3 and 4, and I like 3 and 4. That's it. Well, both films are pretty good.
Yeah, except that I was in there a little long in part 3.
Yeah, you were. It was just it was just interesting because both films are almost from the same area. As far as sequel wise, it's like okay, now there he is again.
Yeah.
Okay, the second question is: do you like your character in A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah. Tommy Kincaid. I love Kincaid. I think the director and the producers and the whole family of the Nightmare group, they allowed us Dream Warriors to create some wonderful characters, and they trusted me as a talent to create Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I like that. I don't know if most people don't know, but I had never seen Nightmare on Elm Street before I did the film.
No, because some of them, when they go back and watch it, and they, like if they're going up for the role, let's say for example Jason Voorhees, and they go back and watch it, it's like always been said, it's like anyone can play as Jason Voorhees or anyone can play as this character, but can they do it right?
Yeah,
that's how it is. I mean, with your character, it does have that innocence when you watch it. Yeah. And it also has that badass type attitude as well. It's like, I'll beat your ass. It's just.
I think Kincaid was like a animal that had been pushed into a corner.
Yeah.
When you pushed him into a corner, he will fight back, and that's the way I saw Kincaid as being.
Yeah, you chose the wrong foe, though.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen. Sorry. All right. The third question is: how can someone get into pictures without a talent scout or manager?
Say it again.
He asks, how can someone get into pictures without a talent scout or a manager?
Without a talent scout?
Yeah, without a talent scout or a manager to get in pictures. You basically going to need an agent or a manager or someone who can get you in front of that casting director. But but you can also just find out who is that casting director for that particular film, if it's a film that you want to get out on. And you write them and send them a picture and resume, but you just have to keep working at it. I always maintain, if you love your craft and you really, truly love it, you're going to continue to do it. Just be ready and just keep doing it. And eventually, someone is going to see you. But you have to be in the right place, a lot of time. And yeah. I think if you stand in the middle of do-why Diddy in the mid-America, yeah.
Nobody going to see you no matter how great you are. But you almost have to migrate to where the business take place. And, and you just keep doing your craft until someone see you, and sooner or later someone is going to see you.
Oh yeah, man. It's just some of the, like, you go back and look at, let's say Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and 3, some of those actors are now in major films like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. It'll happen eventually. I mean, you just don't end up rejecting the smallest roles ever, because if you reject them every single time, you
never reject a small role. A few months ago, I actually saw the first thing that I did on television. It was I was an extra. It was a movie called Miracle on Ice. It was about ice skaters, and I was an extra in it. And I did not want to be seen, but I needed the money. And so in that particular scene, you could see my little black behind looking out of a sea of white people. And all eyes went right on me. But I remember I made $20 for that.
Oh, dude, I'm so gonna rent that.
20. I don't know where it's at, but
I will so get that, dude, and you're gonna sign it.
I think I'm on the screen every bit a second and a half.
That sounds like you got more role play than the entire
second and a half. And there was more people that recognized me from Atlanta, which is where I'm from, than I can count. And another movie called Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger back when he was a twin, and I forgot. And Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah.
And I was in Hollywood. I was going somewhere, and I didn't know that they was filming on the street. And so I was just walking down the street, minding my own business, and there I am in this movie, walking right behind Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
And when that movie came out, I got a lot of people calling me and saying, I saw you in the movie. And I played it off by saying, oh, they cut my role off. They cut my role out. Because I was so embarrassed. But hey.
I was like, no, they didn't cut it out. I dropped my coffee. Shit.
I'm saying this to say, you just have to keep doing. And if people tell you they have the key to getting in the business, they don't know, because if they had the key, they'd either be rich and selling it.
Yeah.
But they don't know.
No, man. It's like they're the ones telling you this, but yet it's somehow you eventually make the big bucks, and they don't.
It's hanging in. You just keep doing it. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, they're the ones not actually getting the money, because they're the ones behind the desk, and you're out there busting your balls. Well, I'll tell you, it's what do you think about films going toward the 3D now?
I've seen a couple and I like them, but for the most part, I just want to go and watch a movie without having to put on another pair of glasses.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for kids, for the kid films. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But when a film tries to transfer their film actually into 3D, it doesn't look that great.
I think I heard rumors that they was going to try to next year go back and go through all the Nightmare movies and put them in 3D.
Yeah.
And probably open them up in theaters or something. So I have no clue. But I know that I think they just started putting all of the Nightmare movies on Blu-ray now.
Oh, yeah. I know that they've been on DVD for quite a while. And I almost had a chance to buy the box set, but it was like almost $50.
In Blu-ray?
No, this was like on DVD. They had a box set.
It had a box set, but now they are doing them in Blu-ray. So that's a whole new set that's about to come out. So.
Is it anything special, or are you actually on one of those, or is it just?
They just did part 3.
Oh, okay.
They just did part 3. They haven't did 4 yet, but they just did part 3.
Because I figured they'd just re-release it just onto that format. Because some of them just have are a little bit different than the actual DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you think 3D is more of a problem, or do you think it's actually going to be, doable, per se?
I think it's going to have its place. I certainly think it's going to have its place because, and just let's face it, when you go to the theaters now, you have choices. You can go see it in 3D and you can go see it regular. And I think for a lot of the younger generation, they want to see 3D. They don't want to work their imagination that much.
It's like instead of sitting your ass in front of the TV when you were a kid, go watch it in 3D. Here's the glasses. Get the hell out of my face.
Yeah, so I think it has its place, and you can't change that. You either accept it or move on.
Yeah, of course, it's a problem, but it's not a problem at the same time. It's the whole CGI.
Yeah.
And now a lot of films are going to 3D, and some of them are all right. But as I said, it's more for kids, for kid films like Rango, and Happy Feet, and such films like that.
Yeah, but I saw Happy Feet, but I didn't like it in 3D.
You didn't?
No, I didn't like it in 3D. So I was quite happy with just seeing it regular, but hey.
Well, you were happy watching the film, but your feet left the theater.
They didn't do that too much to me. But before I go, can I tell you about my walk that I'm doing?
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, before we get to that, real quick, go ahead and get a little bit back into your new projects, real quick. What's happening again? Are you directing further with these projects?
I'm getting ready to direct a play, but I also just completed a film called Brother White.
Huh?
I think it's due out in March. I'm not sure. I think it's going to be on limited in the theaters, and then it's going to television. It may become a series.
Oh, rock on.
Called Brother White, and it's basically a drama comedy, and it's the story about this white minister who becomes a pastor at this mega church in the South. So it has some very funny moments in it, and I play one of the deacons, and who's also a head of the engineering department at the church. So it's a really funny piece. Has a nice cast with Jack A. Harry, Regina Vale Johnson, and David White. Of a really nice cast of talent that's going to be in it.
Oh, rock on.
So that coming out, and in March, as everyone know, if they go on to Facebook, they know that I'm passionate about supporting young people and buying them books and supplies when they go to school and sending kids to camp during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I'm going to do is that I'm going to walk in the Los Angeles Marathon, and I'm asking all my horror friends and family to, help me out by pledging 25 cents a mile, and all you're doing is giving up basically the French fries at McDonald's that day. And my goal is to raise between $30,000 and $50,000. If I can get everybody all over the world just pledge 25 cents a mile. Now, I'm also going to name each mile after a horror villain.
Oh, rock on.
So with mile 26 being Freddy Krueger, so I got to walk through all those villains to get to Freddy Krueger, and you'll be able to go online and see where I am doing the walk. So you can't say I'm sitting my ass at home and not walking. It's going to take me about 8 hours, but I'm going to walk it.
Now, I'll be there with the camera. This is the reality. And yes, we will have dramatic effects. Someone throw water in his face.
That would be nice.
And a rock.
That would be nice, but it would be good if you throw it in my face in front of me so I can and run at your ass on the trail. But yes, that's my passion. Everybody that can reach out to me on Facebook, and I will give them more information. By the way, for people that don't know, that is me on Facebook, and I do get on and I do talk sometimes. Sometimes I'm very busy, but for the most part, I do try to talk to everybody who say something to me.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, Ken will be back on the show once all the projects are all in place, or even if he has a new one, or if he ever finishes the marathon.
I will finish the marathon. But I would be back just before the marathon so I can be begging for my 25 cents a mile.
Yeah.
All right then, guys. It was nice talking with you.
There you go. Ken Sagoes, actor as well as a writer as well as a director, amongst many things. Played in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4.